start my presentation, I just want to share some of the pictures that we have taken while we conduct the research. This is the briefing to the draft team as the teachers in the school. And this is also the briefing to the school principal. This is FGD for the draft team, whereby one of our members have the group interview with the draft team. And this is also another picture of the FGD focus group interview. And then we have interview for the teachers individually. That means each researcher interview with the individual teachers in the school. And it's also the same thing, individual interview with the teachers. And then we have also the FGD. We have also FGD for the draft team, also FGD for the student. And then this is another picture for the FGD for the student. This is actually for the student, not the teachers. And then these are some of the examples from the school that we have taken on the thinking map that has been produced by the school. Okay, and as you know, we have altogether 8 thinking maps that are being introduced by Dr. David for this thinking project. So we have from the circle map, bubble map, double bubble map, and so on and so forth. And we hope that this will be implemented by the teachers to the student, and will be used by the student also in their teaching and learning process. And what our observation through the assessment that we have done for the 10th school, this map, thinking maps, has been applied by the teachers as well as by the student. But of course, being something that is considered to be new, initially quite a number of them may have difficulty to adjust which particular purpose for which particular maps. That one is, I think, is natural, because when something is new, people will take some time to adjust. And then the general objective for our study, we have 2 actually general objectives. One is to determine the implementation status of the I-Think project, which involves the 10 school. The other one is to determine the potential of sustainability of the I-Think project. So these are the 2 main objectives for the study. And for this particular study, we apply the informants comprises 4 groups altogether, the draft team for each of the school. And then we have the teachers, we have also the student, and finally not least the parents. So these are the 4 groups of informant that were being interviewed or through the FGD that we have gone through to solicit information, to get their experience, in the process of applying the project of the I-Think in the school. And the research methodology that we applied for the study was qualitative research, because the quantitative component has been taken care for by AIMS themselves. So we focus on the qualitative, whereby in this qualitative research we use the multiple case study. The multiple case study comprises the 10 schools that were considered as a pilot project. And then the approach that we applied in the gathering of the data include FGD, focus group discussion, as well as in-depth interview, right? In-depth interview. That means for this particular case, we have altogether 10 drafting, and then teachers we have 48 altogether, and then student 138, and parents we have 14. We have gone through 2 schools for the to go for the FGD for the parents. Okay, here I want to highlight some of the salient observation. Actually, if I couldn't discuss here, it's also okay, because most of them has already been discussed by our teachers, by our principal as well as the headmasters. So the first observation is the potential of I-Think. Based on the study, interview with the draft team, the teachers, the students as well as the parents, it seems that this I-Think project has the potential to be expanded to, has the potential to be expanded to other schools, and that is what we have done, whereby this year we have another 500 schools has been incorporated into the project, and in March another 500 will be also recruited for the program, and it also has the potential to be applied not just for the normal student, but can also be applied for special education learning. From the observation, the handicapped student can also be, this approach can also be used for this particular student, right? So that is the potential for the IT. The second is on the leadership. The leadership here, we are talking about the drive team. As we observed earlier from the discussion of the 5 principal as well as the headmasters, this drive team is very important because why? Because they are the one who will lead the project, the program in the school. If the drive team is active, have the vision, consistent, has strong commitment, and what we would expect is we can see the result in the among the teachers as well as the student. But if there is some problem with the drive team, then we can't expect that much from the program. So that's why the first school that we visited last time for the study was Sekolah Convent, Mua, Cik Norani here. So she was very energetic and very excited with the program and with the presentation, so we can observe that. So this drive team is very important, and even though what we can see is 10 schools, they are not. This school they don't apply to be incorporated or to be involved in this program, but they are being selected. But even then, from our observation, some of course will be very fast in terms of the acceptance, while others may take some time. But this team is very important. If they are very missionary and then we have the commitment, inshallah we should be able to see the result for the student as well as the performance in the school. What we haven't heard from the leadership from the presentation was in terms of the support for the material. But as if we have enough material to be used for the school, that means the school can generate enough fund. But of course, from our observation, some of the school they get the support from the IBG. Some also, of course, initially is given also some by AIM. But when we expand this to 500 and another 500, and then next year will be more, all school will be applied for this I think that component of the material support need to be looked into. Because why? To me, this material support is not that expensive because we don't require special tools, special material. But from our observation, what is needed will be papers, might be the newsprint, might be the colored markers, right? So that means it's not expensive, but for some schools they still have that problem to generate enough fund to support for this for the students as well as the teachers to use in their activities, in the class activities. So to a certain extent, that if this issue is not being taken care of, then it may hinder, because some teachers they have to spend their own money to buy for all this material. So I think, of course, it will be good for them, but in the long run, I think for short term they can sustain. But in the long run, I think the school, the ministry as well as AIM might have to look into this matter. I think the material support. Okay, that will be on the leadership. Second, the third will be the challenges to the teachers. Our observation is, and not just our observation, I think everybody knows that our teachers are very loaded with a lot of work, right? A lot of work. But now we have another initiative, as what Prof. Rajendran mentioned just now. A lot of initiative has been introduced to the school. So we don't want the initiative just to die off as such, but we want this to continue, to sustain, right? To sustain. So what happened for the teachers is they have the problem to balance between in terms of the time because as you know, they have to complete the syllabus to prepare students for the exam, especially for students who who will be taking their big exam. So this will be the challenge. And then the big class size, as you know, in UK, the class size is comparatively small, and on top of that, also they have the support staff to facilitate the teaching process. So even though with that limitation, I think the program still has shown to a large extent the result that we expect to be achieved by the school as well as the student and also the teachers. And the fourth will be changes among the student. Overall, if we through our FGD, we observe that most of the students are excited about the introduction of these thinking maps. But to a certain extent, some of them feel that it is become routine in the sense that when the teachers come, okay, let's start with drawing the maps, right? So that means in terms of the implementation of this, I think need to be we have to be creative. We don't want to be the thinking maps to become just mundane, right? We want it to be something that can facilitate students to be more active, as we expect for more student center, which in reality happen. But what we want to see more will be, especially for the last classes or the less performed classes, that this thinking map can also be used so that they can also perform in their learning process. Right? And the observation, we found that most of the students have achieved the basic level of thinking. But of course, the time is still short, because when we did our study, the program started in January, and then we come to the school sometime in May. So it's very short. So we would expect, of course, there are some loophole here and there, but the potential among the students is there, especially as I did mention, if the draft team really follow through and then really monitor and then provide motivation to the teachers. But the monitoring itself need to be balanced, because sometimes some teachers felt that it is too much of monitoring, so they are they are very stressful, because from time to time there are people who will be coming to observe them. So I think this one, the draft team can plan and can manage so that that culture of monitoring really help to facilitate, but not to give stress to the teachers, right, which need to be taken into consideration. And then in terms of the sustainability of thinking skill, I think with the presentation of the 5 principles as we observed just now, it has the potential to be sustained. But because if we look at this project, there are basically 3 major components: stakeholder. One, of course, will be AIM. Second will be the ministry, and third is the school. And then at the school level, we have, of course, the draft team, the teachers, the student, as well as the parent. So in this context, as what has been done for the first group, which is the pilot study, training has been given to the teachers. I think based on the pilot study, I think if we can gather this information and then some of the material, I think this this interesting material can be further be benefited by this 500 as well as another 500 schools that will be incorporated into the project in March. I think if we can, I think so. The project is active and also active. So we are creating that thinking skill, thinking culture. So what needs to be done in order to further sustain this project is not to be shelved for after some time. So continuous monitoring needs to be done. So of course at the AIM level, at the ministry level, We have here Dr. Siti Hajar, Dr. Hajar here. Of course, will be and the team can also play important part here. And then, of course, for the ministry, they have the district at the district level. So the monitoring need to be continuously done. And the training that has been done at the initial stage need to be reinforced. And as what has been done by the school, they themselves provide the training for their staff from time to time, so that the teachers will be further equipped. And it seems also the teachers, based on our observation, they share among themselves. I mean, if let's say they are teaching mathematics, they tend to share among themselves on what should be the best strategy that they can further apply in the classes, so that students can benefit from these activities or the program. And last aspect that I want to touch on will be on the parental support. From our observation, quite a number of schools, especially the PIBG, provide good support in terms, not just in terms of moral, but some of them also contribute in terms of kind and also as financial, which is something good. If this can be done, that will help the student at the school to manage and then to sustain the use of the material to be used in the activities. And from our FGD of the parents, most of them feel that yes, this program is beneficial to their children, to their students, to their kids. And but I think how much the exposure given to this to the parent, we want to look into further, because might be some of them they just know a little bit about what is this item. Some of them wonders what is all this map. when their kids come back to their house, they come with the series of maps on drawn on the papers. So I think if we can also give adequate, of course, activities have been done to provide the parents with information. I think more can be put out there. I will just stop in just a while. So I think with this observation, we are confident that if we were to give the continuous support and continuous monitoring, this IT program, inshallah, can be sustained, and hopefully this will transform our students in the school in the future, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.